Somebody is not telling the truth. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack just released this statement, and I quote, I asked and accepted Ms. Sherrod's resignation for two reasons. First, for the past 18 months, we have been working to turn the page on the sordid civil rights record at the USDA and this controversy. It could make it more difficult to move forward on correcting injustices. Second, state rural development directors make many decisions and are often called to use their discretion. The controversy surrounding her comments would create situations where her decisions, rightly or wrongly, would be called into question, making it difficult for her to bring jobs to Georgia. Okay, sounds reasonable, except that's not Shirley's story. Remember, the White House called her, and she named names. And she was told that she would be on Beck if she didn't resign. Is she lying, or is he lying? Will anyone in the media care? You know, this country is in trouble, gang. The Republic is at stake. It's no less than that. The Republic is at stake. Anybody who tells you it's not is either lying or an idiot. This is not a new thing. We have been warned for a very long time. I warn you on this audio. This is from 1961, so it's very difficult to hear. But please try to make it through this. This is 1961. You've heard this speech before, but everybody spins it into the conspiracy of the military-industrial complex. Remember, this is a general, now the President of the United States in 1961, giving one of his last speeches a warning to the American people because things are going to change. He says, be vigilant. Watch.
This conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications.
Can we stop for a second, please? Just pause it for a second, please. Listen to what he's just saying here. What he's saying here is we are entering a new time. We have a military-industrial complex for the first time. We can't go back to being the farmers or car makers or whatever. We have to have a military-industrial complex. But it's going to change even the spiritual in our country. It could. We must be vigilant here. Now watch.
Sources and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought.
Stop.
By the military-industrial.
Here's what he's saying here. He's saying the very structure of our nation is about to change. And in the corridors of influence, we must not allow people to gain unwarranted power, whether sought or unsought. He knows that mass amounts of money are going to be coming into Washington. And he is telling you, in 1961, your country is in peril.
Oil complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted.
We were warned in 1961 that things are going to change, that the country is in danger. And we must be vigilant. We must watch for these things. The conspiracy out of this speech has always been about the military-industrial complex. That's true. But there's more. There's the banking complex, the media. It's now in our churches. What he is saying is we as citizens need to be informed. We must stand guard, or our republic is in grave danger. The founders said that there's a fourth branch of government, the free press. Unfortunately, the progressives killed the free press. It started with Woodrow Wilson merging the press and government. Look it up. Council of Foreign Relations, so you could have the press come in with the government officials, and the government officials could tell the press what needed to be done, and they would just sell it to the stupid people. There's no conspiracy there. That's their charter. He said the government won't survive unless we are vigilant, expose it, and root it out. Well, we'll do that next. America, may I assign a little bit of homework for you? At glennbeck.com, right now on the front page, there is this report. It is from 1969. You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. Tomorrow on the radio, I'm going to be going over this with my staff live, and we're going to be talking about it. And when you read it, I believe you will see the blueprint of what we're doing today and what's happening today. I'd like your help on this as we piece it together this week on radio, and then next week we will present it here. Also, one more thing, if you can find this book, it's interesting reading. And I just would like to give... See, the problem is with the Obama administration is I do like to read. I do like to read, and I like to read original sources. I recognized this today in this Weather Underground Prairie Fire book. I recognized it. I also don't believe in coincidence. I happened to be researching something completely unrelated yesterday, and oh gosh, this is going to be tough for you guys. Make sure you keep watching. Thank you, Lord. Now, our founders knew that an ill-informed public would cause people to become uninvolved, making the loss of liberty likely. Thomas Jefferson said, the basis of our government being the opinion of the people, the very first object should be to keep that right. And if it were let to decide to me whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter. Our media is supposed to be the defender of the republic. It is. It's supposed to expose, make sure government stays on track, hold politicians accountable for their actions. The media is supposed to be the ultimate check and balance. But now is it? The media, the republic is lost if the media doesn't wake up. The media is being used as a tool by politicians, a happy tool. The media is not only dropping the ball, they are conspiring to work with the politicians. They are complicit in everything that's going on. And there are truly disturbing alleged conversations now with journalists that I'll show you in a minute that shouldn't surprise you, but it might take your breath away. The reason why I say it shouldn't surprise you is if you think about the stories that have been buried in the past. Do you remember how Matt Drudge became famous? He rose to prominence during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. How was he able to break it first? Newsweek had the story, but sat on it. During the Bush administration, violence on the border was virtually ignored. By the way, because of inaction on the borders, things have only gotten worse. A source sent me pictures from the front lines, far worse than anything I have ever seen. I call it the front lines on purpose because drug gangs are blowing up cars. They're having shootouts with federal agents and police. The pictures I have to show, the violence is the worst I have ever seen in anything. We can show pictures of people getting killed all the time on television, but they won't even hint that these pictures are available. And when you think it's right across our own border, it should horrify you. You can find those photos, but I warn you, glennbeck.com, you need to understand how bad the violence is and what the media will not show you. They'll show you the first Palestinian bleeding in the streets, but with the exception of Fox, they won't show you this. You ready? A brand new shopping mall. Where was it built? It opened. Gaza Strip. Same issue with the border violence. They show you what they want to show you. Now, during the election, it's weird that no member of the media found it noteworthy that Obama's mom wasn't just a regular girl from Kansas. She was actually a little red girl, a communist, who left her son to go study Marxism. But nobody seemed to mention that. Nobody found this interesting. This is the Frank Marshall Davis communist FBI file. It's as complete as we can find. We got this one from usasurvival.org. I'd love to get more information about Obama's mentor. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody in the media cared enough to look into it? There's a whole bunch of FBI documents here, but nobody seemed to think this, his mentor, was important? Did any of the journalists feel that Barack Obama's questionable association with radicals, you know, from the Weather Underground, was actually worth questioning? No. Terrorist Bill Ayers? No. Wouldn't it be great if somebody actually researched the things like I'm just talking about? Please, America, they're not going to do it. You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. Oh, read it. Read it. They won't for you. You're going to have to do the work. That's also up on the front page of GlennBeck.com. How about the media not caring really about slumlord Tony Rezko, or the fact that Obama got a shady home loan through him? Didn't spark any interest. How's this one? That loan came through Shore Bank, home of Crime Inc. Have you seen Crime Inc. or Shore Bank anywhere else?